I start to think about last night, and I'm full of regrets. Again, another.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, Andy,
All right.
how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. Good to
Good.
meet you.
Good. So how's your day so far, Andy?
It's good. Just had caught up with a friend, had some coffee, and came back here to speak with you, and then heading off to a lunch after this. So life is good.
Fantastic, Andy, fantastic. So, Andy, your sophomore album, The Inevitable Fork, is to be out on October 18 now. So, would you like to tell me a bit on the songwriting and production behind this new upcoming album?
Yeah, happy to. Any specific questions or just in general?
General about the songwriting and the production.
Yeah, the songwriting, it's essentially like three EPs that we mashed together into a full album. So it's a pretty decent lifespan, of, the songs and how they came together. Still all very cohesive, to form, because that was the plan from the get-go. It was just more of, we are very much a DIY band, and so for budget and timing, we could only afford to do a few songs at a time for recording. And yeah, the process, I guess it's pretty uniform. I'll usually do, I'll go in and sort of demo out the meat of the songs, and then, just do it all on my own in our little lockout, and then I'll send out to everybody, and then, we'll sort of, work through parts and, mesh them. And then for production, we recorded everything on our own, just in our little lockout rehearsal, and with like the mics that we have on hand, other than the drums. Obviously drums and any music that's heavily rhythm based are a very big part. So the drums, I think we did all the drums with our friend John Spiker, who did the drums on our first album. So we went to him to do the drums. And then mixing was a bit of a puzzle, because we did the first EP with one mixer, then the second EP with another mixer, and the third with another mixer, just for scheduling. So those were all very unique experiences in their own, because the, mixing is a big piece of the puzzle as well when it comes to the production. But we did our best to, like, make them feel cohesive, but also evolving, and we, the way I write is, pretty eclectic, given, my taste in music and just how I like, how I like songs to feel. And so we tried to make a concerted effort to still honor, the way that Melted Bodies is, as far as, really challenging what heavy music can be, but also making it feel like a cohesive album across.
Fantastic. And as I said, these are a combination of the three EPs. So is the three EPs has something in common, or does it have some kind of concept behind it?
I mean, it's not a concept album, so no, like, there's overarching things, it's definitely, there's still some songs that are more outward facing, sort of, maybe talking about, things that I observe, much more of the direction that I was writing a lot of the stuff on Enjoy Yourself. But this album, I ended up writing a lot more lyrics and songs that are more personal, just of my, either, stuff that's going on with family, or, with past, or, just dealing with, depression and mental health and stuff that I've gone through. So there's definitely a through line, much more of a through line with that on this album. And then we also did a really nice thing where I had a lot of, like, old journal entries, or, poems, or, things that I'd written down. Some of them are even from, like, 15 years ago, but things that I had always sort of had in my head, and that I'll, think about a lot, or that mean a lot to me. And then we created interludes. So there's a bunch of interludes on the full album, which I think is one that only on the vinyl and what you can get through Bandcamp, because we wanted to make like a special full double EP. And so we tied all the songs together with a bunch of these like really cool interludes that you know, I had these writings, and then I sent them off to our friend Angela, who plays in the band Shoo Shoo, and she read them, she interpreted them, because I didn't give her any direction. I was like, read these however they make you feel. And then I took those vocals and sort of messed with them, and then gave those to Scott, our drummer, and he put together, well, me and him put together, you know, sort of soundscape stuff underneath them. And so that sort of helps take you along this journey of the album, of where, you know, it might go from, you know, very anxious and existential to, you know, angry to very sentimental to more fun. So that, yeah, there's definitely a nice thread that ties the songs together with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I had the pleasure to listen to the entire album, and totally a mind-blowing album from you guys. Beautiful songwriting, great musicianship, the power, the energy, the melody, the overall aura was so beautiful in this album. It's from starting to end, beautifully, beautiful to listen to. The heaviness, totally loving this. And as a band, what are your thoughts on this new album, and how do you guys feel about the outcome?
Well, first off, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that. I know it's like a, you know, it's not a short album, and, you know, our songs are, you know, they're not meant to be songs that you can digest easily. You know, they're meant that you can keep coming back and hearing stuff. So thank you for that. I appreciate you taking the time and that you enjoyed it. That means a lot. And yeah, the wait, now I forget what the question was, because I was so flattered by your compliment. What was the question?
How do you feel about the outcome, and what are your thoughts on this new album?
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. You know, I think if you knew the amount of time that I spend on writing these songs and, you know, everything that goes into it, you know, it's so much time. You know, there is so much thought and passion and intent and enjoyment, you know, of doing, you know, trying to do what we're doing in this sort of, you know, aggressive music landscape. And I think it's a big step up. I know for me personally, the songwriting in a lot of regards is a step up from Enjoy Yourself. It's, you know, there's a lot more vulnerability in this album. I think, you know, everybody has a different definition of what heavy is. That could be heavy lyrically, that could be heavy, you know, just in a traditional, you know, distortion sense, or in the rhythms. But for me, this is in all those categories a heavier album, which I wanted to lean into. I wanted it to be, you know, a bit, yeah, a bit sharper, you know, peel away a bit more of the sort of satirical fun side and lean a little bit heavier into more of heavier lyrical content, and then even heavier, you know, musical parts.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you have released two singles and videos for the singles as well, Bloodlines and Something Is Wrong. As you said, and I know this is also a DIY work from you guys. And would you like to tell me a bit on the making of this video?
Yeah, the videos came together quick. One, two, that's pretty much all Scott, drummer, and that was, we had like, we knew we wanted to, you know, we needed to have some kind of visual content for you know, at least a couple of the songs, and we had ideas popping around, but we, you know, we just had a lot on our plate with getting everything ready. And so luckily we had a friend film we played a really cool show at a venue called the Fonda in LA, and luckily we had a friend that was good with a camera, and he filmed that live show, and then he showed us a few snippets of the live footage, and we were like, awesome, we don't have any live footage stuff. And then Scott is so talented at editing, you know, and bringing in stuff, so he was like, I'm gonna do a video for Bloodlines and sort of, you know, pair some, you know, sort of really you know, very, you know, intense visuals with our live stuff. And then, you know, I myself and Scott, and a little bit with Ben and Hoda, like a lot of the stuff like in between the videos I just filmed by myself at my house, you know, on my iPhone and being weird, and then I would send that to Scott, and he would take it in and like,
Yeah.
you know, do a bunch of really rad treatments to it. And so we all sort of like put in a little bit of that. And so, yeah, and that came together. And then Something Is Wrong, you know, Scott was like, I want to do, you know, sort of more of a montage, you know, thing of us playing. And then I had this sort of, you know, high fashion clown image, you know, from that took influence from like an artist that he was a fan of. And so for that one, I was like, cool, whatever, just tell me where to show up, you know, and we'll do it. And so we shot that in like half a day, you know, at his old apartment. We just, you know, turned off all the lights and one of his roommates helped. And, you know, and then again, he took it all in and edited it. So, yeah, it's more, and we have some other ideas that we want to do. It just depends if we need more money for it and we, you know, and to do it, but hopefully we'll be able to do at least one more once the album comes out and we have more time.
Fantastic, fantastic. And prior to the release of the album, are you have planning to release one more single from this album?
No, that's it because it's, I mean, we have 1 week. So yeah, but no, it's coming out in a week, man. Like it still hasn't really hit me because we, you know, just like with any artist and any band, you know, you work on these things for so long,
Yeah.
you know, that by the time it's for the release, it's sort of like, if, you know, we've listened to these songs 100 times already. And so I'm just ready to just let it out and let everybody else do what they want with them rather than me, you know, being like, hey, I don't even know how this song feels to me anymore. So yeah, no, nothing else. Just the full release in about a week.
Fantastic. And any big plans on the day of the release?
I'm actually gonna have everybody over to my place. We're trying to get one of the mixers lives in New York, but we're trying to get like anybody that was involved, you know, just to come over. And you know, I'm a big like horror movie fan, and I like this season in general. So we'll probably just, you know, make some cocktails and have the album playing and a horror movie in the background, and you know, just be around good people and enjoying it. And you know, sort of, I think it's important, you know, anytime you accomplish something to like have, you know, even a few hours of just like, okay, like I'm just gonna soak this in for myself and with the people that, you know, I love and that created this with, and you know, just celebrate that. So yeah, we're just gonna do something nice and small.
Sounds good, sounds good. And speaking on touring, any big plans for the end of the year or early 2025?
We did have we were gonna be gone for all of November into December touring, and then last minute some things out of our control fell through. So that was the plan. But you know, music is a very tough industry, especially right now for touring. So I'm sure something else will come, but we're doing a release show in LA on the 9th, November 9th in LA at First Street Billiards, which will be a really fun show. We're actually doing like a pretty unique thing with that where there's a local, you know, sort of a very DIY wrestling company that called Circle Six that does these amazing, you know, where like wrestlers wrestle like in the bar and they're like running around and cutting each other with razors, and it's a crazy time. And so Ben in our band is like a really big wrestling fan, and he's connected with them, and we've gone to their shows before, and they're like super fun, and they love our band. So we're gonna do this like sort of Circle Six Melted Bodies,
Yeah.
you know, just to try to make it, you know, something a little bit different, you know, to like really make it fun and crazy. And then we have a few things on the books, which I don't know if we can announce yet. That's next year. And then, yeah, hopefully some, would love to get out and share this record, you know, touring, not only in the US, but would love to get over to Europe and other places, you know, because we've never played over there.
Fantastic, fantastic. And any merchandise plans for the fans?
Say again?
Any merchandise that you are working on for the release?
So I've so much. I have always been very heavily into the merch, all the designs, and I like, you know, I like fashion and clothing in general. So yeah, we have like, I think they might be posting today actually for pre-order. a bunch of merchandise connected with the album and stuff. So I sent all the images over a couple days ago, and then I'm working with a printer right now, and then I think we're going to announce for pre-sale, I think today.
Fantastic, fantastic. And this idea of Melted Bodies came out back in 2015, and in 2020 you had your debut album, Enjoy Yourself, and now with another upcoming album. So how do you guys feel about the road that you have traveled so far?
It's been an adventure, you know. It feels like we've been a band for a long time, and then simultaneously, sometimes it feels like we're just beginning, It's been interesting, there's always, I think what we're doing is really special in the heavy music landscape, but overall, it's still a pretty conservative genre. And so I've been a bit surprised on how challenging our songs can be for some people. Whereas for me, like I feel like a lot of us, listen to all kinds of genres of music, and that, there's so much amazing music outside of that, and that, there's different ways to make things aggressive and enjoyable. And so, it's been a unique path to be on, trying to do what we're doing. And, it's like we either connect like, really strongly with people, or people are like, I don't get it. I just want, distorted guitars and, one style, and I want to hear that over and over, which I listen to tons of bands that are like that. And I love that for the right place, and right time. And who knows, I'm certainly sure that at some point we'll write a bunch of songs like that, so in the future as well. But right now, I think we're just sort of trying to really, challenge ourselves and listeners, because I like to be challenged when I listen. I like to be surprised and feel unexpected and be like, what the hell was that? And go back and listen again and go back and listen again. But it's not a path that's been, the easiest, to be as a band. And, we'll just keep at it. And I think the people who do, connect with what we're doing, really, really fall in love deeply with it, it seems like. And so we just got to rely on that and continue to grow it.
Fantastic. And what has been the best moments with Melted Bodies so far?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I mean, there's been so many. I'll try to think of, one personal one for me is, really recently I switched over to just doing vocals. I used to play the live shows, I would do vocals and guitars, which I really enjoyed, but, we always had that in the back of our heads of trying that. And then I was like, if we can find a guitar player or guitar players that, we feel like are a good fit, I'm definitely open to trying it. And so then we did find a couple of guitar players that, fit the bill. And so that was a really big moment for me. I've been a musician and a songwriter for a very long time and performed a lot, never though as just a front guy. And so for me personally, a big, it just, I went out and acted like a fool and did my thing. And so that first show of just being a front guy was and that was pretty recently, but that like was the first thing that came to mind when you said that, for a personal one. And then I know as a band, we finally landed, management and booking agent for US and Europe this year for a band. That was a really big milestone for us. Just stuff that we've been really, looking for and feeling deserving of, but wanting to do it in the right way. And then of course, anytime, the Enjoy Yourself release, that was a big thing, especially during COVID, and to have the reaction that it did, was amazing. And then, of course, this album coming up, like our music is, that's the top of the the top of the pyramid, or that's the lighthouse for Melted Bodies, and so I'm just really excited to share it, you know, out with everybody. You know, it's just been there's just so much love and passion and that goes into our songs.
Yeah. And finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
Well, obviously, thank you to like the existing fans, you know, like I said earlier, you know, we know that, you know, we are, you know, really trying to do a lot of things at once intentionally. And, you know, knowing that it's connecting not only energetically, but emotionally with fans, you know, means a lot. And then also just, you know, that I like that, you know, a lot of our fans welcome being challenged as a listener, you know, to expect the unexpected and to really enjoy that, you know. And I think that that's what I want, you know, when I listen to stuff. And so, yeah, that's just, it's really appreciated. And, you know, just same thing for what you said earlier, you know, like taking the time to listen to the record and that you connected with it, enjoyed it, it just means, it means the world. And I mean that in, you know, 100% genuine.
Thank you. And Andy, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on this interview. And thanks to you and the entire band for putting up this awesome album, The Inevitable Fork, just to be out on October 18 next week. So thanks for all the awesomeness. Like I said earlier, fantastic album. I know a lot of people is going to love this new album. So keep it heavy, and we love you, and take care of yourself, and hope to see you guys on the road soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good to meet you and appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank you. And take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.